Today I want to go over Psalms 91, which is one of my favorite. I have a lot of favorite songs. First of all, Psalms. I spend a lot of time in Psalms, but a lot of scriptures. Psalms 91 is considered the protection chapter. I taught it to my kids. They were no older than 4. They may have been younger, but they all had it memorized. I just worked with them every day and memorize this. It's a really good thing to have your kids memorize. Anytime they're scared, or we pray it over every time we go anywhere or we get in a plane. We pray this prayer, Psalms 91. He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the hunter and from deadly pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and His wings you shall find, and under His wings you shall find protection. His faithfulness shall be your shield and wall. You shall not be afraid of the terror of night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that pursues in the darkness, nor the destruction that strikes at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, my dwelling, there shall no evil befall you, neither shall any plague come near your tent. For He shall give angels charge over you, to guard you in all their ways. They shall bear you up in their hands, lest you strike your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the serpent. You shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. I'm not going to go over every single word. That would be too long, but there's a few I want to go over. First of all, it says, He who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will get all this stuff. So that first sentence is super important. So how do you dwell? You inhabit, you wait, you establish, you sit, and you remain. You remain. That is super important. He who dwells, inhabits, sits, remains, waits, and is established in the shelter, the protection, the hiding place, the covering. So you're in the covering of God, of the Most High God, the Supreme. Shall abide. You will lodge, you will trust in, is abiding. Under the shadow, the protection, the shelter, the defense of the Almighty. The word Almighty there, part of that name means to deal with violently, to devastate. So think about that. So God will take care of your enemies, which are, it says we don't fight against flesh and blood, we fight against principalities and the prince of the air. So Satan and all his demons and our own words, minds. So he's going to deal swiftly with the enemies that are out to hurt you. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. He shall deliver you from the snare of the hunter and from the deadly pestilence, which is a plague, the sense of destroying. It's a chasm, it's destruction, calamity, greed, and wickedness. So He's going to save you from that. And then I want to skip over to, let me see. Some of these things, it said, 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. One of the notes I have in here is no destruction of my body, my family, or my finances. Just say that. Think about the word. Don't just read it and just say you've done your duty. Think about the words. 1,000 may fall at my side and 10,000 at my right hand, but it shall not come near me. No destruction on my body, my family, or my finances. You may want to say other things, and you can do that. And then I want to go down to salvation. With long life, I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. This word means material and temporal deliverance. Deliverance, preservation, safety from danger, healing, restoration, and wholeness. So my salvation, with long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. My material and temporal deliverance, safety, preservation, healing, restoration, wholeness, and deliverance from danger. With long life he will satisfy you and show you his salvation, his material, temporal deliverance, his safety, his preservation, his healing, his restoration, and his wholeness. A couple of stories. Sometimes you may not think the word works, but like I told you, every time we go, especially on a long trip, I do a shorter prayer every day for our cars and when we get in them and if we're flying on planes. But I say this over us on trips, if we're going on a long trip, plane rides, things like that, over my children. So one time I went to pick up some kids from high school camp. I had a car full, about 9 kids and myself in my car coming back home on the freeway, and all of a sudden we see, I'm driving, coming back south from Portland, and there was at least 4 lanes, it may have been 5 lanes right there at that point, and we're driving, and all of a sudden we just see cars turning like this beside us and behind us. And what had happened is a semi box truck had kind of sideswiped a semi, and the box truck started spinning, hit cars beside it, and then the semi was trying to correct, kind of siding and hitting cars. I drove right out the middle of that. It's just happening all around us, and the kids are kind of yelling. I'm like, just call 911, check and see what exit we're by, but we're not stopping. I'm just driving out of this thing. And first of all, I had the peace and I wasn't like frantic or insane right then with just chaos happening around me. We drove right out of that. And I think it was something like a 20-car accident at that time with some people highly injured. And we drove right out without a single car hitting us. Another time I was driving on a country road. It had a cliff down the one side, and on the other side it had a mountain that went up, and very, like, no side of the road space at all. And it's curvy. It's pretty curvy out where we used to live. And this car, I come around this corner, and you're supposed to go 55 out there. It should not have been that fast. But anyway, I was probably going about 50, 55, coming around this corner into the straight stretch. And coming around the corner on the other side, this car came at me, and it was just spinning down the road. There's a mountain on this side, cliff on this side. I couldn't do anything. And I had pled this in the morning in my quiet time, and during that time I just said, Jesus. And all of a sudden, just like seconds, it seemed like, all of a sudden that car was parked right beside me, just completely stopped, and I was stopped right here. And she was facing the right way. And then we saw this little jet in the street, so we both pulled over there really fast, and I'm like, are you okay? And there's this little girl in there just yelling at her mommy, Mommy, I told you to slow down, I told you to slow down. But everybody was fine. Nobody was harmed. So if you, this word works. If you will believe in it, if you will dwell in it, if you will say it, if you will do the work. You can't just go, well, here's my Bible. I have a Bible, and people say it works. You have to be willing to do the work. You have to meditate in it. This is living, real, and active. These things right here, these little tags, are scriptures I read every day for things that I'm working on, for healings, for strength, for prosperity, for wisdom, on things I want to do. I read those every single day. Plus I study a portion out, like I have been showing you in this. So this word works. It protects you. It has protected my kids. I have so many stories, which I'll share more other times. This works. If you want strength, if you want wisdom, if you want healing, if you want protection over your children, your family, your husband, your wife, your mom, dad, whoever, pray this, read this, live this, and it will work. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.